for you to do at home. It is quite a quick, nice, simple, cool workout. Anyone can do it. It's suitable for everyone, postnatal, beginners, but also it's nice to go back to basics for the more advanced people who've been doing Pilates for a while. We're going to focus in this video on activating the deep core muscles. We're going to do a bit of mobilisation for the pelvis and the shoulders. Main focus is on core strength and abdominals, so I hope you're going to like it. So we're going to start lying down on our back, and I want you to just take a moment, as always, to just settle into the mat. So just spread your shoulders out nice and wide, make sure there's a nice distance between the shoulders and the ears, lengthen out the back of the neck, and release the arms down into the mat. Feel the weight in the pelvis and the weight in the back of the rib cage. We're going to take a few breaths, focusing on breathing nice and wide into the back of the ribs, and as you exhale, softening the breastbone down away from the chin. So let's take 5 nice deep breaths together, breathing in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Last breath. Spreading out the back of the ribs and exhaling to soften down through the breastbone. Next we're going to do pelvic tilt. So I want you to bring your hands into a diamond shape and place the fingertips just on the pubic bone. Thumbs are pointing up towards the tummy button, and the heels of the hands are just resting onto the hip bones. As we exhale, we're going to tip the pelvis back into a posterior pelvic tilt, and as you inhale, you're going to tip into an anterior pelvic tilt. So we're exhaling, the lower back is pressing into the mat, and as you inhale, you're rolling through neutral into a slight anterior pelvic tilt. Exhaling and inhaling. I want you to try not to press through the feet here, and I want you to try not to squeeze your glutes. So just keep it to a nice subtle movement using the deep core muscles, and we're just mobilising the bottom few vertebrae. Just a couple more. Inhaling forwards, exhaling. This is really nice if you have lower back pain. Just gets rid of some of the stiffness there. And last one, exhaling back. Inhaling to tip forwards. I want you to release your arms down by the sides of the body. We're going to extend on that movement and take it into a shoulder bridge. So when we're ready, we're going to breathe in to prepare. As you exhale, you're going to tip the pelvis back, lower back is imprinting into the mat, and then I want you to lift the tailbone up towards the knees, opening out the front of the hips. So we're in our posterior pelvic tilt, breathing in when we have a nice straight line from the knees all the way up to the shoulder blades, making sure we don't pop the rib cage up. Breathing in here and exhaling to lower the spine back down one vertebrae at a time, as if you're lowering a pearl necklace down onto the ground. Inhaling to come back into neutral at the bottom, and again exhaling, tipping the pelvis under, rolling up, stretching the skin on the front of the hips. The glutes and the hamstrings are working. Breathing in, and as you exhale, softening down through the breastbone, releasing the spine back down, one vertebrae before the next. Take a breath in at the bottom and exhale. And releasing in between the shoulder blades, on down through the rib cage, through the waist, and finally bring the tail back down. Let's do 2 more. Reach the knees forwards as you come up. So nice to articulate the spine. And last one. Exhaling to roll up, breathing in. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. All the way back down. We're going to come into a hip flexor stretch. So I want you to take your left knee, hug it in towards the chest and slide the right leg away. You can flex that right foot, so press away through the heel and see if you can lengthen out the right leg as much as you can. You're looking to open out the front of the right hip and flex the left hip. I want you to keep a little bit of weight in the tailbone, so don't let the pelvis completely roll back towards you. Pressing the knee into the chest and also pressing a little the knee into the hands. Lengthening that right leg away. Shoulders stay nice and relaxed. And we'll switch. Stretching the left leg away. Opening out the front of that hip. Hip flexors which get really tight. And then we'll place the foot back down, slide the left foot in. So we're back into our neutral supine position. Feet to hip width. Pelvis is in neutral, and I've got the natural curves of my spine, so I can just fit my fingertips underneath the lower back. The ribs are spread out nice and wide into the mat, shoulders down away from the ears. Next we're going to do some arm raises. So I want you to place your right hand onto the left hand side of the ribs to start off with. You're going to use the hand to make sure that the rib cage is staying down and not popping up with the arm. So we're going to take a breath in to prepare, and as you exhale, you're going to float the left arm nice and easy up and over just as far as you can without feeling like the ribs are going to pop up with you. So keep those ribs down, take it to the end of your range, and then inhale to lower the arm back down. I'm going to slide down a little bit so you can see. Exhaling and inhaling to float the arm back down, exhaling. So we want to make it a nice smooth flowing movement as always. No sharp starts or finish. And then we're going to switch sides. So we're going to bring the left hand onto the right hand side of the ribs, breathing in to prepare, and exhaling to float the right arm up and back. This is a really nice stretch for the pec and the front of the chest. Also important to mobilise the shoulders. And to disassociate the movement of the arm from the ribs. Use our breath here to control the ribs. So as you exhale, the ribs are melting down onto the body as the arm goes overhead. We've got one more on this side. And I'm going to do both arms together so you know what your end range of movement is. Make sure that you're only working within that range. We're going to keep the ribs down, pelvis stays in neutral. Taking a breath in, exhaling to float both arms up overhead. Inhaling to float them back down. Just two more. If you hear any little crunches and cracks, then that's good. You're working through it. And last one. Releasing back down. Next we're going to put those two things together. So we're going to do a shoulder bridge with an arm raise overhead at the top. So we're going to make sure that our heels are directly underneath our knees, hip width apart. Take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, you're tipping the pelvis back, rolling up into your bridge, opening out the front of the hips. Inhaling at the top to float the arms up and overhead. We're going to leave the arms here if we can as we exhale to lower the spine back down one vertebrae at a time. So a big stretch on the front of the chest. Exhaling, rolling the spine all the way back down. When you get to the bottom, you can inhale and float the arms back down. Let's do 3 more. Exhaling. Feel the core nice and strong here. Last one. And let's pause at the top here. I want you to float the arms up and back down, keeping the hips nice and high. We're just going to do a little heel lift to work the glutes a bit more. So take a breath in. As you exhale, without the hips moving at all, I want you to float the left heel up away from the mat. Inhale to gently place it back down. Right side, exhaling and inhaling. Two more on each side. My hips are not moving at all. And to come up, we're going to inhale and float the arms just above the shoulders. Take a breath in and nice and slowly I want you to lower the spine down one vertebrae at a time. Really feel each vertebrae imprinting into the mat. You'll definitely feel your glutes now as well. Controlling yourself all the way back down. Lowering that spine. And then let's do a glute stretch. We're going to fold the left knee in towards the chest. Externally rotate at the hip to take that foot onto the opposite knee. We're going to open out the hip. And this might be enough for you. If you're feeling a good stretch here, then that's great. If not, then you can fold your right knee up into a tabletop. See if you can grab hold of the back of that thigh. And gently ease it in towards you, making sure you keep this knee nice and open. And again, we're keeping some weight in the tailbone here. We're not rolling the pelvis in towards us. We're going to keep the weight in the tailbone as we gently ease that leg in. It's going to increase the stretch on the glute. Again, make sure your shoulders are staying nice and relaxed. No reason for them to tense up here. And let's swap sides. Bring the foot down. Place the other foot onto the knee. Open out the hip to start off with. Excuse the state of my feet. And then fold it in towards you. Hugging it in, keeping the weight in the tailbone again. And then let's bring the feet back down, back into neutral. We're going to work the deep lower abdominals, the transverse abdominis a little bit more now. And do some single knee folds and then come into tabletop. And if we can, then we're going to do some toe taps, but let's see how we go. So to start off with, I want you to make sure that your pelvis is back in neutral. You've got the little gap underneath the lower back. The ribs are releasing down into mat. Let's have our hands on the pelvis to start off with so we can feel what's going on here. We're going to take a breath in to prepare, and as you exhale, without the pelvis moving, you're going to float one knee up into tabletop. Inhale to gently place the foot back down. Exhaling the other knee. Inhaling to place the foot back down. So we're moving nice and slowly with the breath. Controlled and precise. Exhaling and inhaling to place the foot back down. Once you're sure that pelvis isn't moving, you can release the arms back down again. It's always quite nice to feel what's going on and help with that body awareness. And this time when we take the left knee up, let's park it there, take a breath in, and as you exhale, strong contraction through the core to give you the strength to float the other knee up. So we're in our double tabletop here. I'm still in neutral, I'm not compressing the lower back into the mat. The core is very strongly switched on, the transverse abdominis is supporting to keep the knees in tabletop. This might be enough for you, it definitely should feel like a bit of work. If you want a bit more, we can do toe taps from here. So we're going to keep this right angle at the knee. As we exhale, we're going to tap the toe down and inhale to float the knee back up. So imagine you're just dipping your toe into water. As you exhale, tapping down, inhaling to float back up. So again, we're controlling with the core. Pelvis is staying neutral, the spine is not moving at all. And we're isolating the movement of the thigh bone in the hip socket. If you feel like your lower back is starting to lift away from the mat, this kind of thing, then just come back into the single knee folds, because it just means that the abdominals are not quite strong enough to support the weight of the leg in this position. So newly postnatal, it's a good idea to stick with the single knee folds until you get a bit stronger. And the other thing to watch out for is that we're not bending the knee, so we don't want to cheat by bending the knee to tap down. We want to really make sure we're taking the thigh bone away. Let's just do one more on each side. And I'm going to let the abdominals rest by hugging the knees into the chest. This time you can let the pelvis tip back towards you, and we'll have a little rock from side to side and massage out the sacrum, which always feels really nice. Really do a little circular movement each way. And then let's take each knee in each hand and do some nice big circles, opposite directions. Just moving the thighs nice and freely in the hip socket, so and go back the other way. One more. And then we're going to place the feet back down. We're going to have the feet and the knees together this time. We're going to do our hip rolls. So I want you to open the arms out, about 45-degree angles. You want to have them a bit wider than the mat. And then let's externally rotate from the upper arm bones to open the palms to the ceiling. So we feel like we're really nice and open through the breastbone and the chest here. We're going to keep the back of the shoulders nice and heavy into the mat. We're going to squeeze the inner thighs together. As we inhale, we're going to roll on the back of the hips to let the knees come over towards the left. Just as far as you feel like you're still in control with the core. As you exhale, I want you to bring the rib cage back down onto the mat, and the knees will just follow. And then we're inhaling to roll to the right, and exhaling the ribs back down onto the mat, letting the waist follow. Inhaling. Notice how I'm keeping my knees together. The knees aren't overlapping at all. And the outside foot is coming up away from the mat to keep the feet completely lined up with each other. Both of my shoulders are staying connected to the mat the whole time. I'm just working on mobilizing through the pelvis and the lower spine, using the obliques, the waist muscles, to move the pelvis. Last one to the right. Good. And then we're going to separate our feet back to hip width. The last exercise we're going to do is the chest lift. So I want you to interlace your fingers together. Bring your hands behind the back of the neck. And then I want you to use your hands to stretch the skin at the back of the neck, pulling the head up away from the shoulders. The head is just floating just up off the mat, so I'm still looking up at the ceiling at this point. And I want you to release any tension in the neck, so let the hands and the arms really support the weight of the head. Shoulders are staying down the back, connected back into the back of the rib cage. I'm going to take a breath in here, and as we exhale, we're going to roll the rib cage forward so we can come up and have a look in between the knees. And inhale to roll back down. Exhaling. Inhaling to roll back down. So my pelvis is staying neutral again. I'm not curling the tailbone back towards me. And the shoulder blades are staying set down the back. I can just see my elbows in the peripheral vision, and my hands are fully supporting the weight of the head. So I'm not gathering up any tension in the neck. As you can see, I've got a little gap between my chin and my chest, and I don't ever compress my chin in towards the chest. Exhaling to roll up. So we're working into the upper abdominals. Let's just do 2 more. Last one. And then we'll lower back down. We're going to have a full body stretch. Reach from fingertips to toes. It feels really nice to stretch out the abdominals. And have a little walk, maybe from side to side. And then we're just coming to a nice twist to finish up. Sorry, my phone's telling me it's about to die. So finish with a nice relaxing twist. So I want you to have your knees and your feet together. You're going to press into your feet to lift your hips just about 1 inch off the mat. And then I want you to swing your hips over to the right hand side. Lower down onto the left butt cheek. And then open your arms out a little wider, so probably about shoulder height. Let's have the palms facing the ceiling again. We're going to exhale the knees over to the left. But I want you to only go as far as you can whilst keeping the right shoulder blade down onto the mat. And when you get there, you can turn your head and look out over the right arm. And then just breathe into the twist. Use your exhale to let go of any tension in the body. Just let it all go. And use your exhale to float the knees back up to centre. Re-centre the hips. And then pick the hips up, swing them over to the left, drop onto the right cheek, and let both knees fall over to the right. This time, turning the head to look out over the left arm. Both shoulders are heavy into the mat. Breathing. Exhaling all the stress away. You might want to hold these stretches a little bit longer. And then we're going to exhale the knees back up to centre, re-centre the hips, and we'll hug the knees into the chest one more time. Bring the hands behind the back of the knees, and you're going to use your legs to help you roll up to seated. And we're finished. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.